Hello everyone, welcome to LITEROPHILE. The term we'll be discussing today is Palinode. Now, a palinode is a recantation in song or verse. It's usually a poem in which a writer retracts, renounces, or counterbalances a statement that he or she has made in an earlier poem. Now, if you look at the meaning of this term, now palinode is a Greek term, is a term of Greek origin, and the literal meaning of this term is singing over again. Singing over again is the exact word meaning of palinode. Now it makes a lot of sense, right? Singing over again, making necessary corrections. So the very first example of palinode could be seen as a lyric poem written by the Greek poet Stesichorus. Now, the Greek poet Stesichorus comes up with a lyric poem, and this is seen as the very first example of palinode. And in this poem, he withdraws a statement of attack that he makes on Helen of Troy as the cause of the Trojan War. Now, legend has it that he incurred blindness on insulting Helen of Troy and was cured of it soon after retracting it and further flattering Helen of Troy through his palinode. Quite interesting. Now, another example would be, say, Ovid. All right, Ovid, we all know Ovid to be the famous poet who has written the work Metamorphoses, right? So Ovid writes his work Remedia Amoris. Okay, the work Remedia Amoris. Now this work was written in order to retract another work of his which was written much earlier, and that work is called Ars Amatoria. Ars Amatoria. So Ovid writes Remedia Amoris in order to retract his Ars Amatoria. All right, now let us look at an example in English literature. So looking at a well-known instance of palinode in English literature, it would be none other than the very famous Chaucer. Now, if you look at Chaucer's work, Legend of Good Women, all right, we're all familiar with Chaucer's work, Legend of Good Women. Now, in the prologue to this work, Legend of Good Women, written by Geoffrey Chaucer, you find him repenting being harsh to the unfaithful character of women, specifically portrayed in Troilus and Cresside. And further, he celebrates the loyalty of women in his translation of the work Romance of the Rose. So not only does he repent or he retract the statement of women as being unfaithful, but he also laudates women as being as being extremely faithful and loyal, taking instance from another translation of his, the translation of the Romance of the Rose. All right, so this can be seen as a very good example of a palinode in English literature. Now, for a quick recap, we were discussing the term palinode, and originally the Greek meaning says singing over again. Now, by definition, you could say that palinode is a poem or a poetic verse in which a writer retracts, renounces, or counterbalances a statement that he or she has made in an earlier poem. The first instance of a palinode can be found in the Greek poet Stesichorus in a lyric where he withdraws his attack on Helen as the cause of the Trojan War. The next example would be Ovid's Remedia Amoris, written in order to retract the statements that he has made in his much earlier work Ars Amatoria. Now, the last example is one from English literature, and the writer is Geoffrey Chaucer, and his work, The Legend of Good Women, can be seen as a classic example of a palinode wherein he repents or he literally retracts his statement of women being unfaithful by quoting Troilus and Cresside, and he further celebrates the loyalty of women by quoting instances from his translation of the work Roman de la Rose, or his translation Romance of the Rose. So that's all for today. We'll get back to you all in another video with more inputs on literature. Thank you.